You are now listening to the Be Your Own #LoveGoals podcast with Mo Ari
and Tiffany.
We just want you to remember that every person, regardless of identity, wants these three things: belonging, authenticity, and love.
And after a decade of partnership, we've learned to co-create these things and so much more.
So from wherever you're listening, we're going to go on a journey of becoming our own #LoveGoals. Now let's get into this episode. Hey, it's Mo Ari
and Tiffany,
and you are listening to the Be Your Own Love Goals podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, Tiffany, I'm thinking so much about friendship.
Yes, friendship.
Thinking a lot about, I think we center a lot, like when we think about friendship. I personally can center a lot the challenges in relationships.
Yeah.
So I'll start by saying I have some really great friends in my life right now.
Amazing friends.
People I am so grateful for. I'm not going to start naming people because then people will be salty if they're not included. So I just won't do that.
They know who they are. First of all, they're listening to the episode.
Right. and that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. If you're my friend, you listening to this episode whole time.
Oh my gosh.
But everybody knows that I've been friends with Melissa for our entire lifetime. And then Crystal has been in our life since we were 7. So if you don't know anything, you know those two people. But I wanted to start with that positivity before I move into the challenges that really exist in relationships. So we named this episode Be Your Own Friend Goals because we need to talk. We need to have a little sit down.
We need to come to Jesus about these friendships.
Because what is happening? Why after 30? Like, why after college is it so hard to make friends, for one? It's like really, it's getting ignorant out here.
Like, and then once you feel like you've made a friend, you can't keep a friend.
Yeah.
And then I challenge whether I actually made a friend, but that's something else.
Y'all have me out here looking at Nova, all the friends she had. Like, I can't have any friends.
Got friends.
She got friends. I'm like, it could all be so simple,
but you'd rather make high.
That's the theme song for our friendships right now. After 30.
And you know what's funny, Mo? You talking about Nova, something that you would joke with her about when she was little. It has me thinking right now. You would say, Nova, don't do X or do X. You would encourage certain things and discourage certain things. You were. But it's, so he would say that and be like, because we ain't gonna have no friends. But it really, in context, it really shows me how much you appreciate friendship or think about it. And it wasn't like Nova was doing anything, like you can do anything that would cause somebody not want to be friends. But it was your Okay, I'm sorry. I had to insert
now she
that.
be like 6 months old throwing something at me. I'm like, you ain't have no friends. I don't say that now because she knows what that means.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Okay, I'm sorry.
So you have me thinking though about friendships, quality connections. Why it's so hard to be able to make these connections after we move beyond the sandbox. What it's like to be making those connections as a parent. All of the things. So,
and with thinking that, I feel like it makes me then wonder for you. Like, I have then a question for you. You have these amazing friends that I have been really blessed to take on as my own friends and have individual relationships with. Shout out to Mel and Crystal. Love y'all. What do you look for in friendship? I feel like, one, people that are friends with you now probably have a very tough act to follow. And at this point in your life, what do you look for in friendship? Or what Yeah. What do you look for in friendship?
Honestly, and truly, this is funny because even after transitioning and identifying like as a very masked person, I look for sisterhood.
I love that.
That's kind of funny to say. My voice got all high. That's kind of funny to say.
Say it with your chest.
That's kind of funny to say. It's kind of funny to say sisterhood, but I think that's what I want in relationships. I look for all the feels, people that can speak with feeling and emotion and really listen and also really tell a good story about what's happening in their lives. Yeah. I love that. And I want that to never change about my relationships, regardless of anybody's gender. So I want the feels. Yeah. I wrote these things down because I was like, I want to be able to tell Tiffany. I want support and encouragement. Yeah. So I'm a person that will speak life. You do. Over people, into people. And I really believe in them. Yes. I believe that people can accomplish miraculous things. And so the people that I'm around, I'd want them to be supportive and encouraging of me. Yeah. Go ahead, speak over my life.
Come on, somebody.
Encourage my life. And I will give the same in return. So if you don't like that motivating kind of thing, don't be my friend.
Yeah, just don't.
I've had people be like, "Those are you trying to give me a lecture playfully, or that I'm too positive and things." Like, no.
Not my person. Not my people.
I want people around that really are receptive. I like to schedule time to talk. Because we're all so busy. Yeah. So we have to have some type of way of connecting or a standing date on the calendar. So when we were living in Chicago, we would get together with Crystal and Mel every Friday. Yeah. And that was kind of like our thing. So whether we were making tacos together and just talking, or we went out, but we would always kind of start with talking prior to that some point of connection. I just felt like our relationship was so intentional. Moving to Atlanta, I feel like me and Tiffany broke up the crew.
Yeah, we did.
And then we had Nova.
And then the
pandemic. Let's blame it on the pandemic.
The pandemic.
It wasn't even me and Tiffany.
Yeah.
And I think ideally a person that I could build things with. I love having something to create with the people I'm in relationship with. So somebody that we could, work on a project together or do something together. Maybe we just do home improvement projects, whatever. Like, I like doing activities with the people I'm in relationship with. So friends, like, that would be cool. Or somebody I've made really great connections with colleagues because of that, because we're working on things together. So I love that kind of stuff. Then I really need people who are lovers of people, kind-hearted, flexible, and compassionate people. I'm actually, it's like I'm putting out a personals ad for friendships right now. So I'm doing that. Compassionate people, all the while challenging me to grow. Yeah. So I need to hear about myself, but I need to hear about it in the voice of empathy major.
Empathy major. I like that. Is that like Xenon or something?
Empathy major.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I feel like I appreciate all of those qualities similar in friendship too. I feel like for me, number one is kindness and sweetness.
Yeah. You're kind and sweet.
I would like to think that I'm a kind and sweet person.
Tiffany, when we were friends, she used to bring me cookies. She would mail me sweet things like Laffy Taffies in the mail. Tiffany's a really great friend. That's kind of how she hooked me.
Hook, line, sinker. No, but I really need that in friendship. And I have ventured into being in friendship with people who were not that and have been severely disappointed.
Yeah.
Severely. And so I think going forward at this phase of my life, I'm married and I have a kid. And so in order for me to move my energy elsewhere or, use my time away from them, it has to be to causes and people and relationships that really give back to me. So kindness and sweetness is number one for me.
I was going to say your sister and your longest running friend. Yes. They are kind and sweet.
Yes. My sister, shout out to Brandis. And shout out to my best friend for, I don't even know, 20 plus years at this point, Lanisha, Nina. Very kind and sweet. And if it's not given that, I don't want it. I really don't.
So sweet. It's funny because I feel like for a while you were also attracting school teachers.
Oh my God, yes.
Because Nina's a school teacher.
She is a kindergarten teacher at that. Like they have this level
of sweetness. They really do.
And it's not even like a facade. Like that's just how she is.
I really appreciate people that are just upbeat like that. I need the emotion. She's also a fire sign, so I think that you have a thing with fire signs.
Okay. I think additionally, I need someone that gives me genuine, I see you energy. We see each other. And we might not be the exact same, but I need you to be able to say, you know, I see you and I would love to do anything that I am capable of to help you towards your goals. Yeah. And I would do the same in return for a person like that. Like that support, that encouragement, that I see you is so important because I think if you think about wanting to be a lifelong friend with somebody, we're going to go through so many things, joy, pain, loss, grief. And so I would desire to be a part of my friend's life and be there for them in any way I could through any of those phases. And so I really value that. I think I often say to friends, this is my number 3. When I do something that offends you, not if, because we're human, and there may come a point where I've done something that offends you, it doesn't sit right with you. I need you to be able to tell me that. Yeah. Because if you have an issue with me and you never say it, we kind of don't have an issue. However, I have been in friendships in the past where clearly, based on how the relationship has shifted or how things, you know, how we're now operating, something has happened. There's been some sort of something. Now, whether I was to blame for it or not is a different story. But if we don't have a conversation about it, it feels very awkward and like dead space.
See, I'll argue that you're not to blame for it because one, it's multiple people in that relationship. But 2, it's the response to what happened that hurt the relationship or shifted the relationship. The action itself doesn't shift the relationship.
That's true.
So we're not going to blame you. And then also the choice to not have a conversation shifted the relationship.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I know I'm not perfect and I'm not always aware of things that might hurt people. So please just tell me so we can work through it. Like, I don't want to have to do that stuff where we guessing and trying to figure it out or we...
Another thing, I think Nene and Nana.
Nene and Nana, they are going to be cracking up listening to this episode.
Nene and Nana have in common because they going to bring what they upset with Tiffany
One thing about Nana, she going to be like, I don't like how you said that. And, you know, I'm a perfectionist and I pride myself on being kind to people. And I be quick. I sometimes be like, you mean to tell me? To myself now, to her, you think you got an issue with me, but then I'll be like, you know what? Thank you for coming to me. I am so appreciative.
Relationship.
Because then there's no murky waters. Everything's on the table. I abhor when people don't tell you that they have an issue and you operate in that unvulnerable space. Yeah. That's not cool. Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. Clearly activated. Additionally, I feel like alignment on interest and a curiosity into the interest of the other person. Yeah. Anybody at this point who knows me knows I love the moon. I'm obsessed. So when I've made friends over the past couple of years or, you know, in this space of my life. So, for instance, I had a friend that I made over social media. Stop laughing. I'm a Cancer.
Alignment on interest and an alignment on obscure interests are just very different. But I'm interested in hearing what you mean by this, because I'm wondering if you mean it like you want them to be in love with it too.
No, I'm not meaning that. Like, if they are amazing, I think just an interest in that for me and a curiosity, right? Yeah. Like, my sister, she don't care nothing about the moon. Well, she might.
But she knows.
But when the full moon comes, she'll call me and be like, T, go look at the moon. It's so nice. Like, look. She don't care. Like, I'm sure she's not following the moon cycles and what's happening in the full moon in Virgo. Like,
she likes how excited
she likes how excited I am, and that's what I appreciate. So a person does not have to be a replica of me, but alignment, meaning you see that this thing is important to me, or you find an article and you know I really like this thing, you send it over to me. Like, a friend of mine on social media was talking to me all about how, like, her cycle is now aligned with the moon. And I'm like, thank you for sharing that. We had such a great conversation about it. I know this is so random, but it gets me so excited. But I love that. So not a replica of me, but an interest in, or I guess maybe an acknowledgement or being thoughtful about what the other person likes.
Yeah, it sounds like being interested in the things you're interested in. Just enough to be adjacent to, or to look at it with you together, right? Like,
exactly.
I don't want to watch every rom-com in the world, but I will watch them in order to connect with Tiffany, right?
Right. Like, you might not go moon gazing with me, which is so fine.
But I might to do it with you.
Exactly.
I might not do that on my own.
Yeah, right.
And that's the thing.
Exactly.
There are plenty of things we might do with our friends that we would normally do by ourselves.
Right.
But in the interest of supporting our friends and supporting them engage in something they love, that's very inspiring.
Right.
Our friends may not care to have another podcast to listen to, but they are listening right now.
I mean, every week. And I just love them for that. Every week.
And that's just love.
We can count on those 4 listeners every week.
And then when they send me their podcast worth of voice notes, I be acting like I can't even go listen. No, I'm kidding. I love that too.
Oh my God. So the last thing I was going to say is that for me, it's important for me to be in friendship with a person who is down for an adventure when necessary or when appropriate, but also just down to do the mundane things. Like, we can go jet setting somewhere, or we can also just go for a Target run. Yeah. Like, I think that balance, because we are adults and we have other responsibilities, like being able.
I would prefer that you didn't have any help at Target.
You're the one who don't need no help at Target. Let's truth be told. Okay.
The truth.
I'm not just kidding. But so adventure and the ability to do the mundane, especially as a parent and a wife who has responsibilities. If we can merge some of these things and do some of these things together for the higher good of all parties involved,
let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
So here are our top 5 ways of being a good friend. Showing empathy and active listening. So when your friend talks, listen without interrupting or judging. Showing empathy by understanding and validating their feelings. So what you said makes so much sense to me.
Yeah.
I, appreciate what you said. Offer support and comfort. Be reliable and trustworthy. So keep your promises and commitments. If you say you're going to do something, do it, or at least acknowledge why you couldn't. Respect confidentiality. That's under reliability and trustworthiness.
Don't be telling people business.
No. And definitely not. I can't stand when things I say get back to me. Just don't even tell me it got around.
That includes social media.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Offer your time and presence. Provide support and encouragement. We've talked about these. Respect differences and boundaries.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago, you don't have to agree with everything someone says in order to understand them and to respect them.
Yes.
And so, as we're unlearning a lot of things that probably happened in previous generations that we don't want to carry over, respecting the differences amongst us and our boundaries is very important.
It really, really is. I can't imagine a friendship where that wasn't happening. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's like so important. This brings me to the question that needs answer for today.
Okay, so I have had a lot of friendships where people didn't respond well to me sharing my feelings. I would ignore it and make excuses for their rudeness, but it would just keep happening. I'm at a point now where I don't trust myself to know if someone is being mean when responding to my feelings. How do you think I should tell my friend that something they said hurt my feelings? How will I know that their response is healthy?
Wow. First of all, this person sounds like they're Cancer.
Oh my! Don't come for us like that.
Because of the language.
But basically,
how do I know this person's being mean?
I've definitely been there.
I want to know how old they are. Like,
the Cancer will just have the inner child in you come out, and I have definitely asked this question before.
Yeah,
definitely.
How are you going to answer it?
I feel like a person, when you bring to someone's awareness that you're experiencing, let's say, their behavior in a particular way, or their behavior is coming off in a particular way.
What are the particular ways?
Rude.
Okay.
In this point, rudeness.
Well, you're saying particular way. And particular way is the most unparticular way of specifying a feeling. So I was just saying,
if you tell someone that is supposed to be your friend, how you said they came across kind of rude, or I received that like rude, and I consistently feel that from you. How they respond to you telling them that is your number one hint at whether their response is healthy or whether they're willing to do something different.
Yeah.
Now, I know that most people strive to be kind people. I think strive to be kind people, and that if you bring to their awareness that that your feelings were hurt as a result of something they did, they might have a response, like a defensive response. But I would imagine most people will want you to not feel like that, right?
Yeah.
So if you tell a friend that and they like, I ain't do that, you deny or they deny, you're not gonna gaslight me. You're not gonna gaslight me. Or you tell me I did it, you just sensitive. As a Cancer, that has happened to me far too often, and you a crybaby. No, unhealthy.
Very
absolutely unhealthy. And I just feel like
take a breath, beloved. You like,
whoo, this is very activating. So to tell someone that they hurt your feelings, I feel like you just have to be honest. And I always feel like there's a compassionate way of communicating that. I feel like it can be difficult if you feel activated by a person doing something to you. You could easily want to just snip, snap back at them.
Snip, snap.
Snip, snap. However, in order to get the best possible outcome, it's really important to communicate in a way that is how you would want it to be communicated. Yeah. So, Jane Doe, the other day when we had that encounter, as a result of what you said, my feelings were really hurt. That's compassionate. And if they respond like, well, I don't know why you would feel like that, or they deny it, they not your friend. They just not your friend. I'm sorry.
Or they don't have the tools. Friends. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you might not always know when you offend someone, but when they bring it to your awareness, I feel like you have a responsibility to be able, you have a responsibility to do something about it, or to at least say, I hear you say I hurt your feelings. I really don't know what to do different. We could work with that.
Yeah. It does matter how somebody brings that to you.
Yeah.
So I think that as long as your approach is compassionate. And I've had to learn this. So we've been reading the nonviolent communication book. I think we're going to have another episode about that like later in the year. But when I think about that nonviolent communication, some of the basic premises are to talk about what you need, what you want, and to not make an evaluation of what that other person did. Yes. So we want to observe. So I noticed that you didn't respond to my feeling. Or I noticed that you didn't respond. I noticed that.
That's very true.
When you spoke to me, see,
it's hard. Yeah.
I noticed when you spoke to me that you said these words. In general, I like it when someone uses this language when talking to me. The evaluation comes in when we make an assessment of what they meant and we offer it as feelings, right? So we'll say, we'll try and say, I noticed that you were rude to me. That is not an observation.
It's not.
That is an evaluation, but we have a lot of this baked into the way that we talk. So if you approach it from that place, what happens is, and he talks a lot about in this nonviolent communication book, is that we are automatically going to be defensive in response. Exactly. We use this charged language that ultimately sets us up to activate that other person into to violence. Yeah. And then internally we've now created a narrative that makes us ourselves upset. So how we approach this really does matter.
It does. And even just the phrase hurt my feelings is so charged. It's a judgment in and of itself.
And then so your narrative inside is that you were now hurt. Yep. And then the person's response is that they're being accused. Exactly. And so it's really important that we focus on what we need, what we want to see happen in the future, and that we're only making observations. Right. And that when we use feelings words, we are using actual feeling words. Exactly. I feel abandoned is not a feeling word, because abandoned in this context is an evaluation. It is still indicating that you think something was done to you. So the feeling would not be discarded, because again, you're feeling that something was done to you. That is an evaluation, not an observation. And the feeling has to really be just a feeling that is uncharged. It should not be charged with all this extra. Exactly. So you can be feeling sad. You can be feeling disappointed. You can be feeling hurt. You can be feeling pain. You can be feeling loss. Yeah. Those are all feelings. I encourage people, this will move me into #love resources, but I encourage people a lot in therapy to actually get a feelings chart so that they can review feelings in case they need more language around feelings. Yeah. You know, in the English language, most of us who have really come to command the English language don't even have as many feeling words in our vocabulary as we do judgments, ways of saying that somebody else should take accountability. Exactly. So we really have to practice it. So in therapy, we often will bring out a feelings chart. And then so our resource here today is around active listening. Many of you all may have practiced this before if you've ever done therapy. But I just invite you to, the next time you're listening to a friend tell a story, to actively listen to them. And some of those therapy tools that we learn around active listening is to keep eye contact, to try to listen without trying to find something to respond to. Just listen. Repeat back what we heard the person say. Keep a compassionate, open, engaged demeanor, and so forth. So active listening really comes with those skills. Validate, express gratitude, thank that person for saying what they said. And the skills you're going to acquire in this are empathy, active listening, and deepening your understanding of your friend. So it benefits you to practice this. So we'll call that our active listening exercise. And that's our #love resource for this episode.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. So that leads us right into our
your favorite part.
My favorite parts, which is a would you rather. And it's simply, would you rather have 3 really great friends or a group of 10 associate level friends? For me, that is a very easy question. I feel like I described that this whole episode, and that's 3 really good friends.
Yeah.
I cannot do the lukewarm. Now, I'm gonna take the three really good friends, really great friends.
Yeah. It's like I wouldn't trade my 3 really great friends for 10 associate level friends. If that's all I had, I would still accept the associate level friends, and I would try to make the best of them.
Right.
I'm not going to trade the opportunity to have 3 really great friends. I don't get anything out of that quantity. Yeah. It's definitely a quality over quantity thing for me, but I still am not going to knock having associate level friends.
Exactly. Because I think that there's value. Like, everybody has a purpose in your life. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not gonna trade.
Yeah,
it's a no. Mm-mm. It's a no. I would rather 3 friends that I can cry to and deeply connect with.
Yeah. Nini and Nana.
Y'all, those are the names that Nova calls my best friend and my sister. Just FYI, if you're wondering what Nini and Nana is.
They're not imaginary friends, I promise.
Oh my God, this episode, this topic is clearly very activating for me.
Yeah.
I think as a person who pours so much into people and friendships, I have always been a person that was like, if I get into a relationship or get married, I never want my friends to feel like I've divorced them to be in a relationship. It's important for me for those relationships to still thrive for me. And so
also just invite me in because I'm good.
Yes, and that's another thing. Like, being able to have friends that also welcome you and celebrate you and affirm you and our relationship is just, it's beautiful. And so top tier. And so it can be very activating to me with some of the negative experiences that I've had. But I am so incredibly grateful for the amazing friends we have in our lives. And I am looking forward to attracting more and more positivity.
And see, the good thing is that, like, the people in our lives, like, as they get married and they build relationships, Nini now has a Berber.
Yeah.
So it's like we're getting more people in our lives that we love. Yeah. So it's like very, very helpful. I think that's how we're going to get more and more quality great friends.
Yes. And that's okay with me. That's okay with me.
Yeah. Okay. I love you all. This has been Be Your Own Love Goals podcast with Mo Ari
and Tiffany.
Have a great day and be well.
Bye. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Video episodes are on YouTube and Spotify.
If you want your question included in an upcoming episode, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Be Your Own Love Goals or check out our website at lovegoalspodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you soon.
Bye.